In the last 8 years, what has defined my life outside of international development work is that I founded an organization called Ahaspora in 2011. And the idea of the organization is to be a support system for people who have been to the diaspora and returned here. For most of us, we came back home because we wanted to make a difference. But for a lot of us, it's difficult on our own to do that. And so we formed a mentoring program for high school students, which we've been running for the last 5 years. Ahaspora's thought process was formed on the plane, and I thought, how nice would it have been if this entire plane was filled with young professionals like myself who were coming home because we've gone to school, we've learned different work ethics, different citizen engagement, and we want to come back to give our quota, whether it is for an extended period or a shorter period. And so you had a lot of young professionals who moved home, not because they wanted to move home, but because they had to. So a lot of people were laid off their jobs in the financial sector, and so they returned home. But it became a blessing in disguise, because what it did for us is we had a whole bunch of young people with this international and local experience, and they came to literally run the country across board in the telcos and the banks and investment banking and all of that. And so it was more so, how do we bring all of that energy together to do something different for our country? And so that's how come I brought together a few friends a year later. And I said, this is my idea. My mother is the one who calls me Ahaspora when I came back. She's like, you're no more diaspora, now you're Ahaspora. I put the name out there. They thought, oh, this is brilliant. I would say about the first year, we hovered around 50 people. Today, we have actually over 2,000 people on our listserv. In terms of challenges, I think there's two main ones. The first one is that it's nobody's full-time job. It becomes a little bit even more difficult because you need a number of people who can tell the story, who can attend the conferences, who can do the panels. I can't do that all, and so I do have a board who are amazing, but we're all in full-time positions. The second one is that we've given a lot of freebies, so to speak, to our members. For example, for happy hours, they're always open. You come, evidently you pay for what you eat and drink, but it's usually open. We do prizes, we do things to entice and get people excited to come together. But all of that comes at a cost. In the last 3-4 years, the organization has really been defined. We've engaged in developing Ghana's diaspora engagement policy, the entrepreneurship policy, the STEM policy. I mean, we're really being called when they're thinking about things that affect the diaspora. When I first returned home in 2010, the country was booming economically. There was just this energy that was going on around business, and I think that helps a lot, and that encouraged a lot of people to come. When you have a vibrancy within the environment, when you know it's easy for you to start a business or to connect with international and national firms, all of those things help to make the return easier and smoother, absolutely. And as we speak, actually, we're just about finalizing an app, and we're hoping that when we use the app as opposed to a listserv, a Google listserv, we can create more data on people going in, people coming in, what the struggles are. But I'll say a lot of people, when they have the right networks, when they find the networks, not necessarily just Ahaspora, it could be church, it could be, other societal networks, they're able to stay and enjoy it more, because you may have all the comforts of the West, but it's not home. That when you're thinking, you have your name, you have your mission, your vision, which are all important for you to drive growth and success. Think about the fact that you're bringing people together, and it's going to cost, and it's important that if you can do that early on, even if it's a token fee, people are used to it. And then you always have an ability to bring them together, and I think that's important, because volunteer groups typically over time die out. And so if we can keep doing what we do, if we can be sustainable past that original group of members who were there, I think that would be the success. And then if we can go across the continent. I challenge other Africans to take a look within yourself and ask yourself, how can you give back? Just look at the corner of where you are. What niche do you have? What can you support? And you'll find that you may have gone in to help one child go to school, and it turns into 50 children being exposed. So wherever you are, you have an idea, don't overthink it, just do it.